Strategy with Sally. Hello, welcome everybody. Today we're talking about 6 ignored marketing rules that are killing your campaigns. And honestly, this is one of those topics that can sting just a little bit because a lot of the time a campaign is not failing because you need more content, more tools, or more complicated strategy. It's failing because the basics are being ignored. And that's what makes this frustrating. You can be doing a lot. You can be putting real effort in and always showing up and still not getting the results you're expected. Not because you're lazy, not because you're doing nothing, but because of a few simple rules that are being missed in the background. So today, that's what we're going to walk through, those 6 rules that are often ignored, and show you what to focus on instead. As always, this is Strategy with Sally. We're going to kick off with our theme song, and I'll be back in 3.5 once all our VIPs join us inside of the Voz.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
We had a couple of issues right there, but that's okay. We are back. Hello, everybody. So today we're going to walk through the 6 rules that are often ignored, so to show you what to focus on instead. So drop me hello in the chat with a purple emoji heart. Let me know if you're joining us live and where you're tuning in from. So, have you ever felt like you're just not quite sure if your marketing is landing? Well, this is what we're going to do today. We're doing marketing, and we're going to talk about things that may be ignored because maybe you're just kind of overcomplicating things or making it a little harder for yourself than it needs to be. If we haven't yet met, I'm Sally, and I am a automation nerd, and I love sexy numbers. Bring them to me, baby. Let me find those gaps and holes in your funnels and marketing strategies. And I love to help business owners build the right things in the right order so that growth feels so much simpler, stronger, and a lot less chaotic. So, and this conversation that we're having right now, it really does matter. I see so many people working so hard on their marketing, but still feeling really disappointed by the results. They're posting, they're launching, they're creating, they're tweaking, but the conversations and the conversions are very weak. The traction that you're getting is a little patchy, and the whole thing feels a lot heavier than it should be. And often it's not because you need more, it's because they need to stop ignoring these things that actually make campaigns work. So tell me in the chat, is this something that you've been dealing with right now? And if yes, well, pop that down, or maybe just a little bit. Let me know, or absolutely pop that down in the chat. You see, the real challenge for most people is not the lack of marketing ideas. It's that they keep adding more things before checking whether the fundamentals are actually working. So instead of fixing the basics, what they do is they just pile more shit on. More posts, more platforms, more funnels, more emails, more tweaks, so many more moving parts. And underneath all of that, the campaign is often still weak. But you can have a really nice looking campaign with a weak message. You can have lots of content with a weak offer. You can have a full funnel, but it's got too much friction in it. And you can put lots and lots of effort in, but no consistency, no repetition, and no obvious path to that next step. And when that happens, people often think the answer is to go harder, right? Hustle more. If we work harder, then things should just get better, right? Sometimes better isn't through hustle. Sometimes what you need is not just more marketing, more content. It's better marketing fundamentals. All right, so I've got a few people here saying, yep, they need to be a little better, and absolutely. Okay, so have you ever looked at your campaign and thought, that should have done better than it actually did? You see, what often people think the problem is strategy, or they need more reach, they need better hooks, they need to just create more, or I need something more advanced. But what often happens is that you just need things to be more simple. The message maybe isn't obvious enough, and the campaign isn't consistent enough, or the message isn't repeated enough, or maybe the offer isn't quite strong enough. The content isn't being distributed enough. Like, are you putting it in all the places? And then once they opt in, is that path to the next action, is it too complicated? So today, I don't want to give you more noise. I want to give you a bit of a filter, a way to look at your marketing and ask, which rules am I ignoring right now? Because when you find out that, you can usually find the leak. And once you find the leak, you can usually fix something useful. That's what is going to make things better. All right, so let's dig into those 6 rules. Rule number 1, be obvious, not impressive. So let's start with this rule. A lot of marketing tries to be far too polished, too clever, too different or smart. But if people have to work hard to understand what to do, or who it is for, or what the result is that they'll get, or why they should even care, you can lose them. Being impressive is not the goal. Being understood is the goal. And I think this is where a lot of people accidentally make things harder than they need to be. They write headlines that sound really nice and pretty, and I like to say, like, they're very flowery, right? but they don't actually say much. They describe the offer in a way that feels really fancy and they use all these fancy words, but it's not actually useful. It makes the audience do too much work. If they have to ask themselves, what does this actually mean? Or they need to Google a word to work out what its meaning is. And the truth is, people are way too busy for that. They are not sitting there with loads of spare energy trying to decode your marketing. They need to get it quickly. So when I say be obvious, I mean make it easy to understand, make it easy to identify with, and make it easy to say, yes, that matters to me. Because obvious converts better than impressive every single time. So don't use industry jargon and really fancy words. I always say, write like a fifth grader. All right, here's a little hot tip for you. There is an app called Hemingway, and you can take your copy and you can put it into Hemingway and it will tell you your readability score. As well as that, it will pull out a lot of passive words, things like just or maybe are very passive words, and tell you to remove or replace those. It will also help you to break up very big like sections or heavy word thick paragraphs. And grammar goes out the window with your copy. So if you've got a really big paragraph, sometimes it's better to separate at the full stops, or I like to enter down and go dot, 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 and then complete the sentence. So it's easy to scan, easy to read, and it sits around that grade 5 readability level. So that's Hemingway. All right, rule number 2, consistency beats intensity. Now, this second rule, a lot of people market in bursts. They have a week where they're everywhere. They're posting, they're emailing, they're outreaching, they're talking about their offer, they're full of energy, and then they disappear. Things get busy. They second guess it. They lose momentum, or they just get distracted. And the campaign goes quiet before it's had time to work. This is such a common pattern, and it creates really patchy trust because your audience doesn't just need to see you once when you're in that burst of motivation. They need to feel you present over time. That's how you build trust. That's how people are going to remember you. That's how you will stay front of mind, tip of tongue. And it will make people feel safe enough to take action. So if your marketing feels like you're starting and stopping, your campaigns will lose energy really quickly. And if you keep mistaking not enough time for bad strategy, this is probably one of the rules that's being ignored. Steady tends to win. Not because steady is exciting, but because steady gives you message over time and it allows that message to land. And my word of the year is steady, as is to continue to test things that work rather than rebuilding new things over and over again. So which one is more true for you? Is it your message isn't obvious enough, or are you not being consistent enough? So you hear, we're always saying here, every day be marketing, right? Every day you should be marketing. If you're not marketing, then you're not running a business. You know, there are 3 golden rules in business. You must market, you must learn to sell, right? And you must follow up. If you're not doing those things, then you're not running a business, you're running a hobby. It would be like turning up, say you're a receptionist and you're told, as a receptionist, you have to answer the phone. And you go, nah, not doing that, not today, don't feel like it. Well, guess what? Don't be a receptionist. If you're not going to do marketing and sales and you're running a business, guess what? Don't run a business. Go work for somebody else and let them handle the marketing and sales. All right, let's talk about rule number 3. This is about repetition. So, rule 3 is repetition builds trust, because this is the one people resist all the time. Most business owners get bored with their message way too quickly. They think, oh, I've already done that, or I just don't want to repeat myself, or I need a fresh angle, or I should do something new. But your audience is not living inside your content calendar. They are busy, they're distracted, and they're not analyzing every single post that you put up. They need to hear the same core message more than once before it really lands. That doesn't mean copy and paste the exact same thing like a robot. It actually means reinforcing the same core message in different ways. Say the same truth from different angles. Keep bringing people back to that same core point. This is how people remember what you stand for. That is how your campaign starts to feel solid instead of scattered. And this is how trust from saying one smart thing once. Trust is built through consistency and repetition over time. Think about your marketing advertisements on TV. People will build an advertisement and that could run for 6 or 12 months, the same ad. So that repetition builds trust, keeps in their memory. All right, rule number 4. Now, this one is a big one. Your offer matters more than your content. You have to have good content and you can have really good visibility and you can be showing up really regularly and still not convert if your offer itself is weak, if your offer is vague or poorly positioned. Maybe it's not specific enough. Maybe it's not urgent enough, or it's not solving a problem that people genuinely want to solve. Then the campaign will actually struggle. And this is where people often misdiagnose the problem. They think, maybe I need better content, or maybe I need better hooks, or maybe just post more. But sometimes the content is doing exactly what it should do. It's getting the attention. But the issue is that the things people are being invited to, that offer, it isn't strong enough. So the content, it actually just opens the door. And the offer is what actually gets people to walk through it. So if you're getting attention but no action, they're not clicking, they're not going to the next step. If people seem interested but they're not buying, or the campaign looks busy but it's not producing any end results, it may be not a content problem at all. It may be your offer. All right, so let me know which one feels more true for you right now. Is it A, you're not repeating the message enough? Or is it B, the offer itself is probably weak? Get those tippy tap fingers out and come on, type away. All right, so let's have a look at rule number 5. Distribution matters more than constant creation. So this is rule number 5. And a lot of business owners are not short on content, right? Making content, that's fun. It's easy, right? It's so doable. But they are short on distribution. They keep making more and more and more and more stuff, new posts, new graphics, videos, emails, new ideas, and they don't give them enough airtime for the things they've already created. And that means good content dies way too quickly. Strong messages disappear after one mention. Useful ideas never get enough visibility to actually do their job. You do not always need new content. Sometimes you just need better use of that content. Now, that might look like reposting, resharing, repurposing, or using the same campaign message across different touch points. So that could be email, text message, Facebook, WhatsApp, DMs, right? This matters because your audience, it actually needs more exposure, not more novelty. And the more you give that content, the more mileage it gets, then it's having time to work. So if you're exhausted from constantly making new stuff, this might be why. All right, and let's head into rule number 6. And this rule is simple funnels usually outperform complicated ones. You see, the more steps, that does not automatically mean more strategy. Sometimes they just mean more friction. If the path from the message to the action has too many pages, too many clicks, or too many decisions or explanations and lots of moving parts, people will drop out of that funnel. Not because they're a bad lead, not because they don't actually care, but because it feels too heavy. A campaign should not feel like homework to your audience. It should feel obvious. So here's what this is and why you want to show them why does it matter to them, and then be blatantly obvious. Here's the next step. Click the button, pop in your details, book the appointment. Simple works because it makes actions easier. And simple converts way better. So if your campaign feels overbuilt, you've got 20 pages and 50 workflows and decision diamonds everywhere, if the journey feels clunky and there's a lot of things happening, it could be the reason why it's not converting. It might be time to simplify, not add more things. So which one of these needs the most attention from you right now? Is it distribution or a simple funnel? Let us know in the chat. So if I was looking at an underperforming campaign right now, here's what I'd be paying attention to. The things that I would skip. So I would skip trying to make the marketing sound too impressive. So don't use those fancy words. Okay, I'd skip creating more content before checking whether the message is actually working. And I'd skip adding extra funnel steps just because they look more advanced. And what I'd stop is changing the message too many times too quickly before it's tested. And I'd stop launching in bursts, right? And then going quiet. I call it the feast and famine cycle, right? You market in a burst. You get new leads in, so you stop marketing. And then you serve the people that you've got. And then what happens? No new leads. Oh, we've got to do it again. We've got to hustle to get more leads. We serve, no leads. Oh shit, hustle. Feast and famine, right? You hear me talk about the snowball effect. Campaigns that build over time. We need to have that on constantly. Also, I'd stop assuming one mention is enough. Say the same things in different ways on repeat. And I'd stop blaming the algorithm and blaming the reach when it's probably the offer that is weak. And I'd stop confusing, this is really important, I'd stop confusing busy work with effective work. And things that I'd do differently is I'd make the message more obvious. I'd show up very steadily and consistently. And I would repeat the core message more often. Then look at strengthening your offer and also think about the distribution. Where is that content going right now? Are you utilizing all the different channels of communication available to you? All right. So that's where I'd start. Not blowing everything up, not rebuilding the whole tech machine that you've got there in OmniSam, just by fixing the rules that are being ignored. So, as always, your GSD task, your Get Shit Done task for today. I want you to choose one of the 6 rules that we've covered. Not 6, not a full campaign rebuild, just one. And I want you to ask yourself, which rule have I been ignoring? What is costing me right now? And what is one change I can make this week? Maybe it's rewriting a headline so it's more obvious. Maybe it's finally committing to a more sustainable campaign rhythm. Or maybe it's repeating the same message a few more times instead of changing it. Or maybe it's just tightening up your offer. Or maybe you're looking at repurposing content that you already have. Okay? So also something you could do is remove unnecessary steps in your funnel. So the point is not to do everything, right? The point is to focus on the thing that will actually move something. So drop your focus in the chat. Is it 1, being more obvious with your messaging? Is it 2, consistency? Is it 3, repetition? Is it 4, the offer? Is it 5, distribution? Or finally 6, the funnel? You have to choose one. So in the chat, tell me, obvious, consistency, repetition, offer, distribution, or funnel. And then focus on this. Just this week, do one thing. All right. So if today brought up a few uncomfortable truths, good. I'm glad. Because that usually means you found a real issue. And that is much better to be in that place to work rather than just guessing and hoping something sticks. You honestly don't need to fix everything at once, and over the life of your business, you will constantly be tweaking. But I want to get you out of building mode and constantly building new stuff and have you in measuring and optimizing. You just need to stop ignoring these 6 rules. That is, probably quietly hurting most of your campaigns. That's the work. That's where the real shift happens, is stop building. Stop reinventing new things. And if you want help with that, then feel free to reach out. I can totally do a system audit for you. Just shoot us an email at support@omnisam.com.au and ask for a systems audit. And we can definitely have a look through your system and see what you're currently doing. All right. Now, let's head on over to the VIPs and get a key takeaway from those in the room. I can see lots of people today out on the live stream. If you're out on the live stream, say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. But for those in the room, let's bring a couple of you up. Let me know, what was your biggest takeaway from today? Let's see if this button works. Nope, it's not going to work because I didn't set it up. Where is it gone? Here. Bridget. Come on up, Bridget. Oh, that's me.
Hi.
There she is.
Um, I
So,
mean, you know me, consistency is my stop is my motive. I gotta just start doing it, be consistent, and just keep going. And that's I've got the idea, I've got the direction, but I just am bad at the consistency. So that's where I get stuck all the time.
so tell me
So
one thing that you can do to help you be more consistent.
um a simple plan that I can execute every day, but in small chunks.
Perfect.
So that's what I just need, a game plan, do this every day, and then build off of that, and then just kind of go back, follow up on what I do all along and have that repeat cycle go.
Yeah, perfect. So everyday be marketing. What is the marketing strategy? Right? So choose, we talk about this a lot when we go dark. Which strategy are you going to choose? Is it going to be paid or organic? And then once you've chosen between those two, say it's organic, which organic method are you going to stick to and do it every weekday at least?
Right.
So we can go deeper into that when we go dark later. Sharon, come on up. What is a key takeaway for you today?
Mine is distribution and thinking of different ways to um get my offer out there.
Yeah.
But the same as Bridget, yeah, I've just got to post more and get it out there.
Yeah. So posting is not a strategy. It's post and then what? So when you're posting, what's the purpose of the posting? Right? We can post content constantly, but then what? So distribution, you will go Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, X or whatever the hell it's called, TikTok, all the things. But then what? What is that content? What is the next step you want somebody to take? Now, you have a lead magnet funnel, right? So at least once a
Yeah.
day, you should be teaching something that then feels like the next logical step is to grab that lead magnet, right? So you're still putting out the same message in different ways. And if you want more info, comment the word checklist or whatever below, and then we can trigger an automation off that. Right. Now, it
Yeah.
can only be done on pages. It can't be done in groups, but at least that is a next step. Or grab my freebie, link above. Right. Or just straight out shoot me a DM. That way you can get that conversation. Now, you can ask them to enter that doorway through different ways. Fill in an opt-in, drop a DM, drop a word below. But there is that next step. So you still want your evergreen content going out, which you would have already started to set up as part of joining OmniSam. Once that evergreen's done, every day there should be some type of promotional post. And it doesn't have to be buy my stuff. It's like, here's a cool resource, right? So
Yeah.
be putting that out there. If you do your regular weekly lives as well, there should be something in there. I did one just before, right? I didn't have an opt-in landing page ready for today, so I just said, shoot me an email to ask for an audit, right? So we're giving them an entry point through that content as well. All right, lovely ladies, let's come on back here. We are going to wrap things up for today. We're going to go dark, and I'm going to continue working with all the VIPs. So if you're one of our Support Academy clients or you are in the studio, feel free to come and join us in the VOZ now. We do have Ask Me Anything. Once questions are done, we will be moving into GSD, which is our Get Shit Done session. For example, Bridget could be mapping out her daily marketing cadence so she knows what she's going to be doing every day. She's nodding and smiling. I love that. And I just want to say thank you to my daughter who have given me beach waves in my hair today. right? She braided my hair before she went back to uni, and I left it in until today so I could get these lovely beach waves. So a public thank you to my daughter. All right, everyone. As always, never let anyone dull your sparkle. I hope today has inspired you to pick one thing and dial it in. Every day be marketing, and I'll see you on the next live.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And okay.